Okay, so we want to look at information in these geometric diagrams. And this is like, I want to make sure we're prepped for what's coming up in our stuff. So we've talked about these lines a little bit before. Whoops. Okay, we've talked about these tick marks, right? That means that those are equal. So what can we say about this? Like, what's equal here? But it doesn't have signs because it's not a polygon. Lines? U and T and S and R. Okay, what are they though? U and T, S and R. We know they're equal. They're segments. So segment UT is what to segment SR? Equivalent. What else do we use before that? What's the other word that we learned last week or earlier this week in our notes? With the wavy? The funky hair bro. Yeah, they're congruent. Okay. So that we know UT and SR are congruent. All right. How about 2? It's got this 90. Okay, you know they're all right angles. I don't know about that. Can you pare that down to just one? Like, we want to use notation. Try to see if we can use it using some math notation. What does a right angle mean? Or how do you describe that? There's a rectangle in it. But what is that? How are those lines intersecting if it's a 90-degree angle? All the angles are 90 degrees, true, but how are the lines intersecting? So if I was going to say line BC, right, this line right here, and line CE, because that's where my thing is. What do I know about these two lines? How does it intersect? By going through it. How? I don't know. There's special names for when they go through or they intersect at a 90-degree angle. Is it their skew, oblique, perpendicular, parallel? How do they intersect? Perpendicular. So the symbol for that is like an upside down capital T. So this is saying BC, line BC is perpendicular to line CE. So this is perpendicular. Perpendicular. We do have some homework today. Can this be the homework? Might be. Yay. Okay. So does that make sense though? Like 90 degrees is perpendicular intersection. Anytime they intersect perpendicular, then we know that all those angles are 90 degrees. That's also awesome. How about C? Oh, sorry, number 3. Yes, number 3. The angles are the same. Angles are the same. Okay. Which angles? Okay, so we can't call them C and D because D could apply to 2 of those angles there, right? C could apply to this angle and this one. So angle BC. Well, BC what? BC is a segment. BCD, good, is what? Congruent. To what was it? No, CDB. CDB. We can call it CDB. Because our vertex here is C, or here, or you could name it angle BDC. But we have one with a vertex of C and one with a vertex of D. Good. Now 4 is one we have not talked about. So do you all know what those marks mean on number 4? Yeah, those are the same. They're not lines. Those are little arrows. Yes. Does anybody know what those little arrows mean? Never seen them before. Perfect. That's going to help us next week then, or as we move forward. They are parallel. So we would say line HG is parallel to line FE. They're just two lines, like a set of railroad tracks. Yeah, sideways equal sign. That works. Easier said than done. Okay. Parallel? Oh, that's a good call. I'll write it on there. P-A-R-A-L-L-E-L. That's the other thing with parallel is like it's got, you know, two L's right next to each other, just like the symbol.
That's what always helped me remember what parallel really meant.
I like it. Okay. Let's go on down. Let's look at 5 and 6. All right, so how about 5?
We're first off, it has the 90-degree angle.
Has the 90-degree angle, which was like number 2.
Yeah, and then it has two congruent lines.
Then it has the 2 congruent tick marks. Okay, so let's do this symbol first. So we know segment ST, right? So segment has a straight line over it, and segment UR, right? Okay. And how are those two things related? They're not congruent. That's not what this tells us. They intersect how? Parallel is this. Perpendicular. So segment ST is perpendicular to segment UR. Very nice.
And then it's, wouldn't it be SU and SR? SU and SR would be congruent.
Okay, are those lines? Okay, hold on. Justice and Caden. Okay, are these lines, SU and SR? Do you see any arrows on that figure? No, they're segments. So yes, SU, segment SU is congruent to segment SR. And you could name them differently. You could say SU and RS, RS and US. Okay, but because they had those little tick marks in between there, okay, that let us know that it was from here to here is equal to the other one. All right. Lucas, what about number 6? We've got 2 pieces of information there. You can tell me one. Okay, which parallel? S and T. Excellent, right? Because they've got this little arrow. Notice it's not down at the bottom or at the top, right? It's in the middle. So S is parallel to T. Good. Justice, one more thing. There's a right angle. So what's that right angle tell us? Okay, what's perpendicular? You're right that it's perpendicular. Okay, segment, ray, line, what's? Okay, it's Justice's turn. So segment, you're fine. Segment CD is perpendicular to? Well, this line was S, and this line was T, so what's this line? U. So the line is just named U. Good.
I kind of forgot I didn't need to say U.
Oh, I didn't hear it. I'm sorry. I apologize. You were louder. All right. Questions. Okay. So then let's flip over to the back. Look at 9 and 10. Because this is going to be your homework. So this time for 9 and 10, write if this statement given is indicated by the marks on the diagram. Okay, so like you're essentially going to say true or false. All right, so we're looking at what it says. It says line CD is parallel to line EF. CD, EF. That's true? All right, so we could write true there. Right? It's given, or you could write given. How about the next one? Segment VU, so VU is perpendicular to RU? Is perpendicular to RU? Is it given? Is that mark given on the diagram? Like, is that told to you by the tick marks or any markings on the diagram? No. So we would say false or not given. We cannot, so here's the thing. We cannot draw that conclusion if it's not given.
But I mean, if you look at it, you'll know eventually that it will.
Or it'll be close, but it might be 88. It might not be perpendicular. It might be not 90, but close. So that's the thing. We have to, that's another thing about geometry. You can never assume anything. The marks mean everything, which is kind of empowering in a lot of ways. Because again, my drawings are terrible 90% of the time, maybe 95. But I will always put the marks so I know like this side is equal to this side or whatever. Okay. All right, so the rest of this worksheet is your homework, and there's 2 pages to it. So I'm going to give you the second page before we go.